You know we had to do a podcast, right?
What's your name, fat body?
Of course, you were looking food. What the hell?
I'm not fat. I'm big boned.
I'm gonna eat it.
You owe me for one jelly donut!
Fat motherfucker.
Listen to it. My wife said no one's gonna listen to us.
I've got bigger titties than you do!
Bullshit, because nobody fucking had geese back at that point for a bigger guy.
I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I might be somebody's shot of whiskey.
You can't think about, hey, I need to lose 100 pounds, and think about winning that day.
Fucking, I want a cheeseburger and a milkshake. Yo, what's up, Fatleets, and welcome to episode 29 of the Fat Boy Jiu-Jitsu podcast. Yeah, man, it's been such a long time. I know it seemed like this episode was never going to come out. I tried to record it once on my way on one of my last trips from Orlando to Fort Myers, and the whole time I went and did about 45 minutes, and about 45 minutes in, I realized that the blinking light was the record was blinking, which means that it is in standby mode and it's not actually recording. So I knew that I just had to call it quits for the day. So the last podcast touched about going on my cruise, and how I was nervous. I was legit nervous getting on a cruise, being on a cruise where it's nothing but buffets after buffets. They give. I know, because the last time I went there, I remember eating a lot of rice because I was like, "That's all you can eat. Let's go get bring some more rice." I remember eating a bunch of hamburgers, and I knew it was going to be a challenge. So I was nervous, but even then I just packed in some exogenous ketones, just in case. I didn't know what the situation was going to be. And I was using them. The way I like to use exogenous ketones is, and I don't know if I'm using them in the right way, but I feel when I know I'm in ketosis, I'm not hungry, and I'm being fueled on ketones. And so what I tend to do is, if I know I'm going to want to do an extended fast, I'll cheat, and I'll drink some exogenous ketones and not worry about eating. And that would be okay. Instead of I would look at it as like a meal replacement, and it's worked for me. So going on this cruise, I thought I was going to highly depend on that, like I'd done at our previous camp out before. So it went great. I was more worried about how I thought I was going to react on the cruise, because I know, last time I went, I was no holds bar. I was going to eat whatever I saw on site. I was going to drink whatever I saw on site. I even got the previously the drink plan, and I was drinking Cokes like crazy. And I thought about, okay, well, I may do, in my mind, I was prepping to say, well, shit, if anything, I can do the the refreshment plan, and I'll just drink some Diet Cokes. But going in, I was like, yeah, let me not try to do that. I had started switching over to drinking La Croix. Now, I never really liked them until I stopped the sweet. When I dropped the sweeteners and I stopped drinking the Zevias, man, I really got a taste for the La Croix. And then I kept on, and I guess, I like to take things a step further. So I started thinking heavily, like, man, they say this is not sweetened, but it tastes like something. And it doesn't taste bad like something. There's got to be something in there. And all they ever is like flavors. Know what the fuck those flavors are. So I kind of ventured, and I just drink sparkling water. Now, I will have one that's flavored if that's all someone has. If I'm somewhere and, hey, we got a La Croix. Oh, okay. It's only lemon lime? All right, well, fuck it. You got the... Oh, okay. Well, but yeah, I've come to enjoy carbonated water. It's fucking ridiculous. I never thought... The first time I tried a carbonated water was we call it mineral water in Ecuador. Was in Ecuador, and I was about 13 years old, and I didn't know what the fuck I was drinking. I saw the bubble, and I thought I saw it was clear. So I thought it was a 7-Up. So I went, poured myself a glass, was gonna drink it, and man, when you're expecting to drink a 7-Up and you get carbonated water, that's not what you want to taste. So naturally, I decided that's I was never going to drink one again, and here we are. Man, I'm drinking those things, shit, like they're water. So I know, I believe I talked about how I bought a Christmas suit for the cruise, and I was excited to wear it. Got it off rack, wore it to on the cruise on the captain's dinner, and my whole plan was to wear it on captain's dinner. Well, I didn't know the cruise had an ugly sweater competition that night, and as we're leaving dinner, they said, "Hey, they were doing it on the main deck. They come on board, come on the stage. What is your name?" So I kind of go along with it, and then they fucking have you dance, and they put you on the stage, and it's bad enough that you gotta talk to everybody and tell them, answer some questions, but they put you to dance, and well, I'm still in a way that fat boy shy. Like, I don't need anybody to see me jiggle. So I don't like doing that, right? I kind of played and just went along with it. It bothered the hell out of me. I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad I was forced upon it. But man, it's something. And I'm thinking back, and I'm thinking back because as I sit here right now, I know I'm lighter than I was back or then. For those of you who haven't followed the Instagram page or my Twitter or anything, I'm actually down now to 252 pounds. 252. And let me see what my phone says. That's right. I don't have any history for November and most of December, because that's when my wife dropped the phone in the wash machine, and I was rocking an iPhone 4 for what felt like an eternity, which I think was only a couple weeks, and that was a rough time for me, because and that's an iPhone 4. But the last weigh-in I had was from November, and it was November 4th. I was 284. So probably by the time of the cruise, I know I've been averaging about 10 pounds a month. So it's probably about 275. So I'm about 25, but at least 20. Okay, say 20. 20 pounds less than I was back then. And there's so much that has changed. Even, back then I was still wearing 46s, 44s. Man, I'm in a size 38 now. It's incredible. I haven't been a size 38 since high school. And while I still kind of weigh more than I was when I was in high school, and I say only my freshman year, because I wasn't, all 4 years of high school, I wasn't the same size. So I definitely was smaller my freshman year than any other year of high school. And my freshman year, I know I wrestled between 189 and 215. And then I ended up going up to heavyweight because there was a guy at a 189 and a guy at 215. So, and that was my freshman year. And I sucked. So I know I was getting big. And I remember my last ROTC blazer was a 48 regular, and the coat was a 50 regular. Now, I know the coat was bigger just because, you're wearing a blazer underneath and whatnot. And obviously the blazer back, they're not fitted like, coats are today. But, man, if I get in the right 46, I'm a 46 chest, man. It's incredible. In November of 2016, I went to a friend's wedding, and that suit I still have today, and I don't want to get rid of it because of what it, like, the accomplishment to me. I have that, and plus, they're kind of suits that they paid a lot of money for them. But that, I have one blue shirt, and this blue shirt I'm keeping. There's a video a friend of mine made, mocking me. He put on this shirt, and he put a couple pillows under his fucking belly, and in between his pants, he even wore my pants, and just filled them with pillows and was walking around. I'm Juan. I'm Fat Juan. And I'm keeping that because I can't wait to almost do that. Recreate that video. Because I look at that clothes and I'm shit. I used to not only did I fit in this, I filled this. It wasn't, some of these clothes, even at the biggest, it was kind of like they were being stretched. They, they didn't fall right. They bulging out. So, man. So I was ended up talking about the suit, how I was able to get it off rack and how good it felt. And I went down some rabbit hole. So after the cruise, we obviously had the holidays. Holidays came and went. That whole time we were packing, and moving, and it wasn't, it's not a move across town. It's a move, 3 hours away, a whole another city. I started thinking about, am I making the right move? I was just nervous, man. The move itself, what's going to happen, and just word of advice, make sure you always have extra help. Several people reached out to me, and when they did, I accepted some help. Some who offered, I was like, no, don't worry, I got this taken care of. You don't have to help. And then last minute, all but one guy kind of showed up. Everybody else had other plans. Some things came up. And while I was pissed about it at first, there's nobody to bat at but myself, because there's a couple people who offered, and I told them, I kind of turned them away, say, no, don't worry, I got it. And I could have used their help. And, man, so that was stressful. I was kind of so pissed off about that. Then, in the midst of all this, my mother had a health issue. She had a mini stroke, and she was in the hospital for a couple weeks, then went to live in a rehab facility, and she's doing better, and she's recovering, but the road to this recovery is going to be long, and it's a blessing that I did move back up home, because it's going to be easy to help, but it's also something else I got to do. And it's just, so with everything going on, I had to take a step back. I couldn't, I try really hard to be on point everywhere, right? Where it's with my diet, with taking care of, with work, with taking care of the kids, with doing, stuff at home. I want to be on point, and the best way I can say it is, it's not, they say your willpower diminishes during the day, or it could be your focus. And for me, it felt like I needed to focus more on, and it wasn't more focus. I needed the family thing. Had to take care of my mother, and going through that, and continually go through that. While it brings on its own stresses, I've had to learn how to deal with them. And when everything was going on, it was just like, you know what, I kind of need to take a step back just so I can concentrate, because otherwise, man, doing that and trying to staying keto this whole time through the holidays, through moving back and forth, everything, man. It's not easy. I'm doing it most of it because I get messages from people who tell me, listen, I heard your podcast, you don't cheat, and I've started to do it, and look, it's been 2 weeks in, I've lost 12 pounds. It's been 3 weeks in, look, my sugar's down 50 points every day, consistently waking up, sugar down 50 points. Another guy, him and his wife joined and collectively lost 50 pounds. Man, and I read these messages, and I said, shit, they got going on. They got their own shit going on too, and they can jump on this train with me and start keto, not cheat. I can continually do it, and while I can, throwing the podcast in there kind of was like it. I knew it was taking some. I would need to refocus and do it, and so I want to say I'm back to doing my weekly podcast. I do apologize for taking so long, and that's what's been going on in my life. It seems now how even though I've been back for like 2 weeks in Central Florida, it feels I haven't got back to our schedule. I used to. Every Mondays, I'd pick up, my son from the capoeira school right after his class. Then Tuesdays, I knew it was, his night jiu-jitsu class. Then I would do a jiu-jitsu class. Monday nights I'd pick him up. Right, we'd go to Cub Scouts. After Cub Scouts, most Monday nights, most Monday nights I would start driving up to Orlando after Cub Scouts. Tuesday, I would wake up here, work, head back down south. Wednesdays, work, in Fort Myers. Thursdays, work in Fort Myers. Then jiu-jitsu. Fridays, then jiu-jitsu, and then in that whole time I would row whenever I can, and so I had a system down. We had and there was weekends where we would come up and or we would stay, but we had something as normal, and it was kind of like we had done it so much it was routine, and 2 weeks in, that routine's still not set, but it's getting there. So I had a one question that I got to answer, or two actually, from my man Ian. Ian, I'm sorry. I even promised this one a week ago, and I'm still, like I said, still trying to fight and get back on track, and that's what I'm doing with this. So he had a question: what have I been doing lately to aid in my weight loss, as in physically? Now, the last month, I can tell you I have done almost zero physically to aid with my weight loss. And as I'm physically, like, nothing consistently. I've done a jiu-jitsu class here and there. I think I rode once. I haven't even rode in the new house yet. I set it up once and then broke it down immediately. Besides walking the dog, actually absolutely nothing. But I've seen so many people who have been in, who are following in this keto Facebook group, and I talk to. There's so many people in those groups that they just by doing keto, they lose weight. Just by cutting out those sugars, those carbs, and going strict keto, and doing just what I guess. I hate to say like calorie counting in the beginning, but you kind of need to set. It's almost, you get your total daily expenditure, and you count your macros, and you shoot for that. But don't live and die by, I have to eat this amount of calories. If you're not hungry, don't eat. Just try to make sure the percentages are there, that you are consuming more fats and stuff, and it focusing just on that and not the calories. It's we have it in our head that we have to focus so much on just strictly calories, and it's not. Focus on the actual macros and the fats, and more so on what carbs you're not eating, or hidden carbs that you may be eating that you don't know about. But focusing, if you cannot do anything physically right now, outside of walking, even if you can't walk, changing that, and lowering the inflammation solely through the ketogenic diet would do so much. On the second part of the question was, how did you get kick-started on working out when you're too big to run or do most cardio effectively? Now, actually, the last podcast in December, it was either December 12th or December 13th, was also when I did the 1.5 mile run. And since then, I have yet to do it again. I don't believe you have to feel like you need to be on a treadmill or on a Stairmaster to say you're doing cardio effectively. Simply going out and say, if last month you could not walk a mile every day, but you're doing a mile every day now, that's progress. If you bump that out and say, what, throughout the day I'm walking 4-5 miles, if I'm at the office, every couple hours I take a 15-minute walk, and that adds a quarter mile here, a quarter mile there, and you're doing it multiple times a day. You take your dog out to the park, instead of driving in the store, you walk there. I know here in Florida, I'm not going to do that. I'll tell you the truth. We're so spread out that ain't happening. But there's times where I opt to walk more. When I park at, let me be real, most times I go to Walmart. It's either that or Target, and I just go to Walmart because most of the time it's, I'm a night owl and I like to stay up way past my bedtime. So guess what's always open? Walmart's always open. So when I go to Walmart, I park the farthest, one of the farthest parking spots in the parking lot. Walk and what I try to do is, okay, I'm going to walk the outside perimeter of the store before I go to what I need to do. And I know I need to go where I need to go, but I make it a point to walk the entire outer perimeter, that main boulevard of the store. And I always go to a super Walmart because I know those are going to be bigger. So, you walk there. Then I know I'm going to walk there. And then so if I know I need to get another thing, I do the exact same thing. I would say, okay, well, I got to lap the store before I go to the next thing. And sometimes that's why my Walmart trips take so long. And then what happens is, Walmart must love this because when I'm walking by something, I'm like, oh, shit, I need that. So I ended up buying something else that I didn't need. But in the midst of things, I'm just adding time. I'm adding walks. I'm adding foot traffic, my steps. So you don't have to, think you got to, run or just row, or rowing. Because I know, first of all, not everybody has access to a rower, and that's thinking that that's the only way to effectively do cardio as a big guy. It's not. The best way would be walking, and I know at the beginning it's going to be tough. Your legs, your joints, everything hurts, and I hope to say that just by switching to a ketogenic diet with and lowering the inflammation in your legs and all around in your body will eventually help you get better. But to be honest, if you are in a position where you're so big and that you can't walk or anything or do cardio, should you really be? Focus on the change of your diet first. So I'm guessing that actually still didn't answer your question as to how I got started. I wanted to actually bike ride before doing any of the rowing. The rower kind of came along, like I said, through CrossFit. I knew about it, and one of the CrossFit gyms I knew about was closing, and it just happened to, okay, well, I'm going to buy it. And because I bought it, shit, now I got to use it, unlike that treadmill I had. So I actually sold that treadmill for $100 when we were in, right before I left, which was awesome. Never used it, still got $100 from it. And sad though, I had to sell my my Rogue weights, my bumper plates. I have no room for them in my new location, and because of that, I didn't want to pay for them to be stored. Those weights need to be used, and they actually went to a good home. A guy is starting a wrestling program for, what is it, middle school and high schoolers. So I wish him the best of luck. He's like, man, this was 4 or 5 months ahead of what I wanted to buy them, but it's kind of just what I wanted. So I kind of hooked him up, and he took him off my hands, and it worked out for the best. So cardio, I knew I was going to bike ride or have to walk. So, but I just continue want to challenge myself, and I haven't lately. And that's kind of another reason why I've been so apprehensive to do a podcast, is not only have, I try to focus on my diet and or try to use that as why I haven't done it. To be honest, I haven't, really kept up physically on trying to work out every day or, do something every day. And I haven't challenged like I can, what's stopping me? Yeah, I can't, if I can't go to the gym, what's stopping me from grabbing my kettlebells, and doing a quick workout? And it's just, me being lazy, me not focusing enough time to do that. So a little embarrassed on that. So, I don't want to do that. So it's like, well, man, it's just, I see that it can be, dealing with that and trying to work through that is extremely difficult. And it's, difficult for everybody. But you can work past it, I guess. And the more you work past it, the easier it gets. So like this weekend, I went to my cousin's house for a Super Bowl get together. They are big Patriots fans. And of course, I went rocking my Bears jersey, because I'm going to still rock my Bears jerseys wherever I go, especially if it's a football party. So the kids were rocking theirs, and they're drinking. They have great smelling food, and I'm just there, and they were like, "Man, you're not gonna have any beer or anything?" I'm like, "No," and my cousin's like, "Man, you're really about this not cheating?" And I'm like, "Yep." And she goes, "Damn." And it was great, and it's great to know that I have this power. One of the first things I felt when I started keto was feeling lighter on my feet, almost 3-4 weeks in, and I think it has a lot to do with my joints not feeling or not being inflamed constantly. I'm rambling. Thank you for downloading episode 29 of the podcast. Sorry it's taken so long. I will have the next one out in a week. Thank you. Love you guys. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Fat Boy Podcast. Have a nice day.